Welcome to Gurukul Live Lectures. In the ongoing series of outcome-based education, today we will be talking on accreditation, program outcomes and course outcome matrix. To start with, outcome-based education, that is we call it as OBE, is a process that involves the restructuring of the curriculum, assessment and the reporting practices in education to reflect the achievement of high order learning and the mastery rather than accumulation of the course credits. So basically the student here is involved in basically taking care of his upgradation in the thinking level skills, right from the knowledge, that is the remembering, to the creativity, that is the highest order of learning. So center of OBE is not what we want to teach, but what the student wants to learn and what basically the industry demands and whatever the skills are important for his employability. These spectrums are added and these flavors are added in the outcome based education. Now, because of the globalization, it has brought in a very clear shift from the education as a transmission of expert knowledge to the education as a building learner competencies, including the learning to learn and the lifelong learning. Basically, in the outcome based education, we focus on the continuous improvement in the education standards of the students and achieve the benchmarking and raise the standards of the thinking level, moving on to from the knowledge to the application and to the creativity. Now that means the focus will now have to be on the understanding of the fundamentals very well, learning the new skills and the competencies that would enable the individual to cope up with the demands of the rapidly changing workplace and to prepare the global engineers who will have to solve the problems and shoulder the challenge which are not even known today. So basically here the paradigm is on to a new important framework because of the Washington Accord which India signed in 2014. Now the outcome based education which we talk about is all about a framework, and let us see the frameworks here. So let us see OBE. OBE is the educational framework, that is what the student should be able to do, that is the attributes which are very important. Now how he is going to attain those attributes depends upon the curriculum, that is how to make the student achieve the outcome. And definitely the learning and the teaching has to be in place. And how do we measure what the students have achieved? So that means we have to have the smart learning outcomes of the students which are crisp, which are good, which are measurable and which are on to the upgradation of the quality standards of the teaching learning process. And eventually we have to do the assessment part of it, because unless and until we assess the students, we will not be able to come on to the conclusions that whether the student has learned the framework or not. So let us see the framework once again in a nutshell. Now if you see on the slide, the first is the mission and the vision statement of the organization, which we call it as institutional vision and mission. Then we make the program educational outcomes which are broader in nature, and the program educational outcomes is what the students they join after seeing the program education outcomes, that is after 3 years from now, if they have joined the undergraduate program, that how do they see after the 3 years of now after doing this particular program. So they are broader in nature, and the vision and the mission statement are even broader in nature, because the mission gives you the purpose for which you are there and the vision gives you a futuristic vision. So keeping into consideration the mission and the vision statement of the institution, we build the program educational outcomes which are very broader in nature, and they have or they envelop the statements like what the students are looking for after they complete, or what skills and attitude they will acquire after the particular program is over. And these programs are for majorly 3 to 5 years, 3 years if you are doing an undergraduate program and 5 years if you are doing a PG program. So it will envelop the broader statements about what skill, attitude and knowledge the student will possess after the completion of the particular program. Then we move on to the particular program outcomes which are very specific in nature, and what the students are going to learn, that is the student learning outcomes after the completion of a particular program. It could be a civil engineering, it could be a BSc electronics, it could be a BCom, it could be an MBA, it could be a any kind of a specialization when you talk about the engineering program. And then we move on to a particular course outcome. So course outcome is basically what the student is learning in a particular class. So that is, we call it as a course outcome. So basically what the student learning programs is all about, whether you call it as a PO or a CO, that is the program outcome or the course outcomes, basically we have to eventually see that what particular skills, qualities and the reasoning power, analytical power, critical thinking and the creativity level, what the students will learn after the completion of a particular course, after a completion of a particular program, after the completion of a particular module, after the completion of a particular chapter. So you have to be very specific as far as the framework of OBE is concerned. It has to be simple, measurable, and they are subject to the upgradation as far as the student thinking level is concerned. So when you are framing this, lot of stakeholders have to be involved, and that too on a very continuous basis. Why? Because we are living in a dynamic world, we are living in a situation which is ever changing. So having the static structure or having a static curriculum is not going to solve any purpose and not going to give any absolute or extra mileage to our students. So whenever this framework is built, it is done on a continuous basis. Certain aspects are short term and certain aspects are long term. So the vision of the statement, the mission of the statement, the program educational outcomes, the particular program outcomes and the particular course outcomes, chapter outcomes, module outcomes have to be built in by a particular committee, depending upon how broader and how narrow and how crisp and how smart the measurable outcomes you are building. So all these things are possible only when you have the course planning and how you are going to deliver these aspects to the students. So definitely the first thing and the foremost thing which you have to build is a syllabus. That is what the students will be taught in a particular class. What teaching methods have to be adopted, what experiential learning, project work, etc. have to be in place, so that the students' learning is the maximum and applied, so that they are able to do a particular job, or they are ready for employability, they are prepared for tomorrow after the completion of a particular course, a program, and after leaving that particular university. So the assessment tools have to be in place, which are again very meticulous, measurable, and some kind of parameters have to be in place, so that in terms of the numbers we understand that whether we are able to attain our program learning outcomes, the course learning outcomes, the chapter learning outcomes, the module learning outcomes. So if it is not measurable, the assessment is incomplete. So the assessment evaluation, the first thing is the institutional assessment, then we move on to the program assessment, and then we move on to the course assessment. So all these aspects have to be kept and seen in one frame to basically understand the basic purpose of putting into place the outcome based education framework. So let me now tell you the administrative system for the implementation of OBE. The first is we have to have a course coordinator. Like if you are doing a BCom program, you will need to have a BCom course coordinator. Then we should have a module coordinator, the program coordinator, the program assessment committee, the departmental advisory committee, and then we have to have the internal quality assurance cell. So if you see this kind of a pyramid, we need to have the internal quality assurance cell. The basic purpose of this particular cell is to always upgrade the quality standards of whatever event, whatever program, whatever course, whatever event you are organizing in the college. So basically it is striving towards benchmarking and excellence. So if this is in place, the formation of which has to be done as per the norms which are particularly mentioned on the NBA website and the NAAC website. Then we need to have a department advisory board, because we are having so many courses with us, so we have different department with us. So every department advisory board has to be in place, and then they are devising the program assessment committee which will assess the programs, and then we will have a program coordinator, module coordinator and the course coordinator in place. So this is the administrative system of the implementation of OBE is concerned. So starting with the implementation part, the first thing which the institution has to build is the statements which are very, very important, having some kind of aspirations in mind, and to remain focused on those aspirations. They should be written in a very simple language, easy to communicate, and should define the objectives which present or the near future of the institute. So to begin with, the first and the foremost aspect for the implementation of the OBE is concerned is the institutional vision and the mission statement. The vision statement is a dream of where one wants the institution to be and inspires all the stakeholders, and the mission statements are actionable statements that guide the stakeholders to the act. Now, how to formulate the vision and the mission statements? There has to be a bottoms up approach. We have to involve all the stakeholders, discussion, brainstorming, gap analysis and the SWOT analysis. So these already have been discussed in the previous sessions, but just to give you a recap, because in this context it is very important to understand these parameters also. So the institutional vision and mission statement, the departmental vision and mission statement have to be in place, and basically when you are making the vision and the mission statement, you can have any kind of an approach which suits your organization. The kind of discussion sessions, the brainstorming sessions, on table discussions, round table discussions involving all the stakeholders, asking them on an email that what is your take on it, asking at least 2 points of view from every stakeholder, and then combining everything in one statement is definitely going to make a substantial difference and make the vision and the mission statements very, very strong. But yes, there are challenges before the institution. What are the immediate and the long-term goals for the organization? We have to involve the vision and the mission statements which are based on these discussions, deliberations and the brainstorming sessions, and after everything is complete, we have to make an important strategic plan which is an action plan for the organization to achieve all these aspects. Now, there is a document which is uploaded on the National Board of Accreditation, that is NBA, relating to vision and mission statement. So let me give you the concept of the vision and the mission statement stated by an NBA document. The vision is a futuristic statement that the institution would like to achieve over a long period of time, and the mission is the means by which it proposes to move towards the stated vision. Now, I want to give you certain examples to make the concept very clear. Now, let me give you first the example of vision statements, and then I would be moving on to the example of a mission statement. So, first is a vision statement example. To emerge as one of the nation's finest institution in the field of the technical education and the research through the focused, effective and sustained monitoring of its program and resources. So, this could be a vision, that is, you are showing some kind of an ambition, some kind of the futuristic plans that you want to be number one institution, number one. Two, in the field of technical education, that is, you would be dealing into only the technical courses. You want to focus research, you want to be very effective, and you will monitor the programs and the resources accordingly, because you want to strive excellence and you want to be on the top. So, this kind of a vision statement is having all the basic parameters into it and is having the futuristic vision also. Now, let me give you an example of a mission statement. To develop a high quality professionals ingrained in ethics, wisdom, creativity for the betterment of the society. So, this is giving the focus of the basic purpose of your existence in the organization, existence of the organization in the world. So, it is here to develop a high quality professionals. So, that means the mission or the basic purpose of the having that organization in this world, that they want to inculcate the ethical aspects, the wisdom aspects, the creativity aspects, and all these aspects will be used towards the betterment of the society. So, those two statements which I have just explained you, do you think they are complete? No, they are not complete. So this is what I want to give you with an example so that you understand that what particular lapses are there. So first the example which I have given you are wrong or incomplete. Now I am moving on to the corrected version of the vision and the mission statement. So the vision statement, which is a corrected one, can be shown as follows: to emerge as one of the nation's finest institution of higher learning in the field of technical education, to develop the professionals who are technically competent, ethically environmental friendly for the betterment of society. So here it is a corrected statement as well as the mission statement is concerned. Now similarly, the vision and the mission statement which I explained was also not correct. So now I am moving to the example of a corrected mission statement so that you can identify that how to write these statements. Already they have been discussed, but few examples are there for you to make a more clear vision and mission statement. So now the corrected version of the mission statement is in front of you. Accomplish stimulating learning environment for the students through the quality teaching research and outreach activity by providing the state-of-art facilities, industry exposure and guidance of the dedicated faculty. So again, I'll give you more sample and examples of the departmental vision and the mission statement because it is the second step. That is, the first step which we have discussed is the institutional vision and mission statement, owing to which you will now make the vision and the mission statement of the organization at the department level. So now let me give you some examples of the vision and the mission statement at the department level. So this is a sample in front of you. Now moving on to the vision. To be an excellent center for imparting the quality higher education in civil engineering for a constantly changing societal needs with credibility, integrity and the ethical standards. Now the mission of the department: accomplish excellence in the curricular, co-curricular activities with the committed faculty through the teaching and the research which creates technically competent and dedicated civil engineers to serve their surroundings with pride. So you can see here that as and when we move on from the institutional vision and mission statement to the departmental vision and mission statement, they become narrow and more focused. So there are certain program educational objectives which I stated earlier also is little broader in nature, and the definitional aspect of the program educational objective is in front of you now. The educational objectives of an engineering degree program are the statements that describe the expected achievement of graduates in their career and also in particular what the graduates are expected to perform and achieve during the first few years after graduation. So this is a broader aspects which the students will peep into that institution, will see those program educational objectives into nature and then join that institution. So after few years, when they are able to complete their graduation, what particular engineering degree programs is going to give them? That is in terms of their career achievements, in terms of their graduate expected performance, etc. So the educational objectives of an engineering degree program are the statements that describe the expected achievement of the graduates in their career and also in particular what graduates are expected to perform and achieve after the first few years after the graduation is done. The program educational outcomes may be guided by the global and the local needs, the vision of the institution and the long-term goals. So let me here clarify that these program educational outcomes are built not in isolation. The first thing which has to be kept in mind is what are the long-term goals of that institution, of that particular program, and then what particular skills and the attitude and the knowledge is needed at the global level. So all these aspects are blended together. The vision and the mission statements are also blended here together to come out with the best program educational outcomes. And for defining the program educational outcomes, the faculty members of the program must continuously work with all, and the stakeholders, the local employers, the industry students and the alumni. Now, who are the stakeholders? The stakeholders are the local employers, because after the student has completed the particular graduation program, it is the employer who will employ. So, what particular needs are there in his mind should be kept in mind. What is the industry demand? What is the student alumni demand? Because alumni are the kind of a bonding between the present students' institutions. So, alumni is definitely going to give you the best suggestions, because they have already traveled that particular path, they are already in employment, and as a alumni they understand that what particular skills were missing when they were a student, and they will definitely give some kind of very important inputs to the present students, and probably in framing of the curriculum, also in probably having some kind of a training session also, which will cater to the local employer, industry demand, the global demands and the global needs. And if everything is kept together, the things would be better to frame the particular program educational objectives. So, these aspects have to be kept in mind before the organization, and unless and until these aspects are kept in mind, that what graduate will do on a global platform, what the graduate will have as far as his professional career is concerned, if he is doing electrical engineering, what particular aspects have to be there, so all these aspects and the continuous upgradation of their professional skills have to be in place, and this is what we are looking for, and when we frame the particular program educational objectives in mind. So, one thing, the program educational objectives are futuristic in nature, and what the graduates will do after the degree is complete, and after the first few years of graduation, what particular achievements of the graduates would be. So, when you are framing the PEOs, that is the program educational objectives of any kind of institution, the vision mission statement, the long term goals, the global needs, the local needs, the employer need, the industry need, the student need, the alumni need, all have to be blended in one frame to come out with the finest program educational outcomes. Although now the accreditation bodies they don't mark you on this the PEOs, but if the organization has PEOs which are in sync with the vision and mission objectives of the department as well as of the institution, they give lot of credits also in terms of the peer team visits when they come in the institution to do the accreditation part. Plus, it shows the long term path, the success path, the striving path of the institutions where they want to go. So, all these things have to be meticulously done with the largest stakeholders in mind and in frame, in building of the vision mission statements of the institution, of the department and of the industry, and overall the PEOs of the institution, which is very important.